Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I am Ilene Gottlieb, the Heart Healer, and it is my joy to share this time with you this morning. We are live and we are presenting from the Wellness Lifestyle Conference, which is located in Durban, South Africa. And today's presentation is Ho'oponopono, a powerful tool for clearing as we create 2022. I wanted to talk about this today because there's so much going on this month. Ho'oponopono to me is one of the most powerful tools on the planet right now for clearing, cleaning, whatever the energy is that we are experiencing that is causing suffering, that is creating a challenge, a problem, or an issue. And this month in particular, there are so many astrological influences. I'm not an astrologer, but I am very familiar with a couple of things going on that are very meaningful to me that I wanted to share about. And one of which is the solar eclipse that occurred on December 4th on the new moon. That energy, we are just coming out of the peak of it, but its energy and its influence and our ability to work with that energy in a very beneficial way extends for a good 3 months beyond the actual solar eclipse occurrence. We also have the winter solstice or the summer solstice, depending upon which hemisphere you're in, that's coming up on the 21st. We have the end of December, the end of the year. There are so many cycles of completion. And the beauty of cycles of completion is that they're also heralding the beginning of a new cycle. And I offer a monthly new moon clearing, not a full moon, a new moon clearing, for the same reason that I'm offering this workshop with the focus today, because clearing out energy is really so beneficial for us. You know, there's so much information about detoxing the body for health and wellness. We clean, spring cleaning, you know, or periodically we clean out that drawer in the kitchen that always has all of our stuff in it. Cleaning things out from a feng shui perspective opens energy. Well, we're energy. Everything is energy based on quantum physics. Everything that we see, sense, feel, hear, know, and experience, all energy just vibrating at different frequencies. So our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our words, our life experiences, as we're recording them in this matrix of light that is us, right? It's all energy. And so when we experience people, places, things, objects, we gather energy from all of these experiences and we pick up energy because our energy field extends way beyond these bodies. The more conscious and awake we are, the more expansive our field is. The more expansive our field is, the more we have like these little antennae that are constantly picking up on whatever's around us. And some of it, not so fabulous. But it's not a good, bad, right, wrong in terms of the energy. It's either going to be a high vibrational energy or it's going to be a low vibrational energy. And for those of you that are really sensitive to energy, very aware of it, you feel it, you experience it, then you're going to probably be uncomfortable from time to time, as I am as an empath. And it just is what it is, right? We do the best that we can to experience our world with the gifts that we have and find tools that help us to be ever so much more comfortable as we are experiencing our world. So I see we've had a bunch more people join us. Janet Rotella, welcome, welcome. Venessa, welcome. Shirley, welcome. Carol. Tracy, you were able to make it. So grateful. All right, did I get everybody here? I think I got everybody that's here so far. Let's see. All right, good. Well, welcome. I'm going to keep going. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the chat or raise your hand. There are little icons under I think it's under the reactions. Correct, where you can put your reactions, or if you have a question, you can raise your hand for sure. All right. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use a whiteboard or not. So I'm just kind of feeling my way here, as I do with every presentation that I do, because it's just much more comfortable that way for me. So hopefully it is for you. Welcome, Anna. I see you just joined us. Thank you. And for any of you that are choosing not to be on camera, keep in mind, nobody cares what you look like. We're just grateful to have you be here. So feel free to come back on camera periodically if you would like to. I'd love to see you. And Claire, thank you. It's so much easier to be able to look at somebody and actually interact with them when we are in this virtual world of presentations. Okay, so I want to thank Priscilla Gendron and all of her team here at the Wellness Lifestyle Conference. Remember that the replay of this presentation is available on the Wellness Lifestyle YouTube channel, and you can review it as many times as you would like. And that's why we're doing it this way, because this information to me is so valuable. I want you to be able to have it and to work with it. And you get to do that immediately if you would like to. Okay, all you have to do, Nancy, is click on, if you put your cursor, if you're on your computer, on the lower part of your screen, the toolbar will open up and you can see the little camera icon. And all you have to do is click on that and your camera will come back on. If you're on your phone, I can't help you. So sorry. But there should be a little toolbar, even on your phone, that should be able to give you the ability to turn your camera back on if you would like to. And that's true for all of you. Okay. All right. Very good. Jesse, welcome. I know your audio is not there yet, but welcome. All right. So here we go. Why Ho'oponopono? Hey, Nancy, welcome. Nice to see your face. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Ho'oponopono and why I'm passionate about it, because I have been awake all my life. You know, I was born as an empath and an intuitive. I'm a conscious channel. I shut down my gifts as a kid because of childhood trauma, and it was really uncomfortable being in this body, as I'm sure that's true for many of you that are here today, if you are an energy sensitive human being. And the short version of this story is that in 1994, 1993, I met a woman that had a spiritual group that I started attending on a monthly basis. And I knew I needed to work with this woman, although I didn't have a clue what it was that she was going to be able to do for me. But I had a knowing, without knowing what a knowing truly was at that point in my life. You know, we live our lives unconsciously until we are awake and conscious. And that doesn't mean that we don't accomplish that which is in alignment with our soul's purpose, but we do it very differently. And the impact on us is very different, the two ways of being. And so I got over my fear of working with her after talking to her on the phone probably a half a dozen times or more. And it was working with her that I became fully connected again consciously to my gifts. And for that, I am eternally grateful to her and wish she was still in a body, for she departed in 2001 back to spirit realm. That awakening allowed me to be very clear about why I'm here. And so as the heart healer, it is my soul's purpose to remind all of us that we're all here for the same reason, whether we're consciously knowing of it or not. And that is to remember how to be a loving presence in our relationship with ourselves first. Like the oxygen mask on the airplane. It's a great example, right? If you're traveling with someone, they always tell you, put the mask on yourself first if it drops down, so that you have the ability to breathe and be available to that person that you're traveling with. Because if you take care of them first, you will have no oxygen. Therefore, you will be unable to care for them. And so when we remember that this relationship with ourselves is not only vital for our survival, for our health and wellness, but it is also why we're here, that it is our soul's purpose for being here. It brings a whole new meaning to it. So Ho'oponopono, as the ancient Hawaiian process of repentance, forgiveness, transmutation, in its original form, it is the prayer, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I just muted myself out. Welcome, Carol. I don't know if anyone else has joined me that I've missed, but welcome, welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you, Carol, and good morning to you as well.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. You're obviously an Eastern time US person, or somewhere where it's Eastern.
I
along with
am.
me. Well, welcome. We're grateful to have you join us. Thank you. All right, so Ho'oponopono in its original form. Let me first ask, how many of you, by a show of hands, well, I won't be able to see them. So just comment in the chat, a yes, you're familiar with Ho'oponopono, and add to it that you practice it, if you do. Yes, I practice it. No, okay. Yes, Priscilla, thank you. And I know you do practice it. Let me know who here in the audience is actually working with this process and is familiar with it. Carol, wonderful, thank you. Okay, I don't know who the Priscilla is that is not Priscilla. So if you want to share your name with me, you're welcome and grateful you're here. Okay, let's see here. Anita, yes, thank you. Suki, yes, thank you. Absolutely, Nancy, I know it is for you. Yes. Stefan, oh my goddess. Okay, welcome. Yes, yes. All right. Carol is saying it's so potent. Janet, yes, and yes. Shirley, yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we have a knowing audience. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, you will be familiar enough to work with it by the time we're complete today. That's my promise to you. Okay. All right, so in the beginning, Ho'oponopono, as this prayer of I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, was originally a facilitated process by a head of household or the kahuna, the spiritual leader for that community. And the Hawaiian people had a very core value of peace. So anything that disrupted the peace needed to be nipped in the bud as quickly as possible. But it was a more confrontational process because it was facilitated, right? And so in 1972, I believe it was, Morna Simeona, who is the teacher of my teacher, Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen, Morna Simeona was a Hawaiian kahuna considered to be a treasure to the Hawaiian people, awake since the age of 3, probably since birth, but she declared her being awake to her mother, who was also a kahuna, at age 3. And so she began her training at that young age, being awake your entire life. What an extraordinary gift. And she was guided by divine creator spirit to change the format for Ho'oponopono to one that is self-contained. It's called self-identity through Ho'oponopono, no longer needing to be facilitated. And so what that means is we are basing this on a philosophy that there's nothing outside of us, that everything that we perceive outside of us in this human construct is a mirror. It is as a result of memories replaying from our own subconscious mind. And so there's nothing to do outside of us. We only are being asked to look within and to continually, as much as we can consciously remember to do it, initiate the cleaning or clearing of whatever it is that we are currently in the moment identifying as a problem, issue, or challenge. It's that simple. When you are saying this prayer, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, you are declaring to divine creator, God, great spirit, by whatever name you call your source, as you believe that you have come from and will return to after this lifetime is complete, that you are 100% responsible for all that you are seeing, sensing, feeling, hearing, and knowing and experiencing. Now, the caveat to that is that although that is a statement that you are making, that you're 100% responsible, the truth is that 99.99% of all that we experience, we have no knowledge of where it's coming from, because it is memories replaying from our subconscious mind. There's a book called The User Illusion by Nortranders that talks about, for every 15 bits of data per second that we're consciously aware of, there are 15 million bits of data per second that we have no knowledge of. Where does that come from? It comes from our subconscious mind. And so even though we are saying, I'm 100% responsible for all of this, all that feels good, all that doesn't feel good, all that I am horrified by, all that brings me joy, and everything in the middle. But keep in mind, 99.99% of it, you're never going to know the cause for. So how you approach addressing it is very significant. In Ho'oponopono, we believe that to engage creates more suffering. And really, any energetic facilitator of healing will tell you that whatever you focus on is what's going to expand and grow. And so if we're engaging in something, it's what we're focusing on, therefore, that's what's going to expand and grow. And so when we consciously have that presence to that principle, we get to choose. Are we going to engage and go down the rabbit hole with it? And remember, rabbit holes are dark, dank, and buggy. And boy, do I not love that imagery, right? So I want to stay on the surface of the earth where the sun is shining and the breeze is blowing and there are no bugs directly in front of me, ideally. Now, I live in South Florida. We have bugs here that my bug man, when I lived up in New England, when he heard I was moving to Florida, said to me, "Are you kidding me?" I thought the man was going to split his gut. He was laughing so hard with the idea that I was moving to a tropical area where the bugs are huge, right? Palmettos that can be this big. That's another story. But anyway, it is my preference, my choice, my desire to always stay within the light, both literally and figuratively. And I invite you that if that's your belief as well and desire, that if you're not doing Ho'oponopono on a regular basis, that you, in this new energy, this new year, start, because you will only benefit from it. So I'm going to tell you just a short version of this story, the reason why I'm so passionate about this. I mentioned briefly that I shut down all of my tools as a young child because of it being so difficult being here in this world. It was largely because the environment that I was in although there was loving energy in it, it was also a very abusive environment and traumatic from that perspective. And the PTSD that I had from it, really, it was just uncomfortable being around everybody's emotions without having a guide to show me the way to be an empath in this realm of being human and be able to feel empowered by it rather than feeling so painful with it. And so my mom was the person that was the source of my trauma. My mom died a year ago, October. She transitioned to spirit, and Ho'oponopono was what gave me the gift, even with COVID, a year and a half of life with her that was so joyful. So for me, but for Ho'oponopono, I wouldn't have had that time with her, to the point that I miss her so much now because of having just that year and a half of joy every day. And so if you have challenges in relationships, if you have trauma of any kind, if there's experiences in your life or the way that you are experiencing your life and your relationships is a source of trauma, suffering, struggle, challenge for you, this is an answer to that you might consider. So once I learned Ho'oponopono, at the time that I did, couldn't stand up straight, had vertigo. It was Christmas week, couldn't get into the acupuncture physician, who I love dearly. And I was left to my own resources, which is a little scary sometimes when you think about it, right? But I have a pretty big toolbox, but nothing was working. And what happened was I started to feel a little bit better, had not been on social media for a few days because I was really just kind of lying down, trying not to move much. And I opened up Facebook, and there was Joe Vitale's course for teaching Ho'oponopono. And I never looked at video marketing tools or marketing ads, and I pressed it. And I started sitting in my kitchen listening to these videos. And the first one, I'm listening and I'm going, and I'm feverishly writing notes like I'm taking a class in college, right? And I'm going, this I know, because I've been practicing Ho'oponopono for 10 years before that, but I had never studied it. It's what came up in healing sessions with clients, and I'm always a devoted student to spirit. If someone within that spirit realm tells me to do something in a client session, I obediently do it. And so Ho'oponopono was one of the things that would show up periodically, and I would say the prayer and do whatever else I was guided to do, but I didn't have a full appreciation for what it was. The second video, I sat there and I was listening to it, and I said to myself, now this makes sense to me. This is quantum healing. So I said, I can do this. And I sat there and I put my hands on my back where I had my pain, and sitting in my kitchen, which is right there. So that's why I'm pointing over there, right? Because you're here with me, but it's there, right? Anyway, so I started going, okay, to whatever memories are in me that are the cause for my back pain and my vertigo. And on any and all levels, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I sat there and I went, I love you. I have no idea how I created this. And I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. 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 And for like an hour, I want to say, the tears, the grief that came out of me, that sound you make when you're crying because grief is being expressed. That's what was coming out of me. I tend to, being an empath, I tend to emote when I clear. I'm grateful for that, actually, because it's quite a wonderful release. It's exhausting. Don't look at me afterwards, because my face with the crying is disgusting to look at, right? But oh, how much better I feel, right? And after about an hour, all of a sudden I realized the pain in my back was gone. And I will tell you from my heart, the truth, that pain never came back. The vertigo took a few more days. And so here I am, and I am devoted now to studying this, reading everything I can get my hands on about it, and now incorporating it into every client session that I have, because if this is working for me, then I need to share this with my clients, right? And so I started living the process. And I said, I wonder if this would work with my relationship with my mom, let alone my trauma. Because a couple of, actually about 8 months before that, we had a major trauma with our mother that totally activated my PTSD for the first time in years. And it was so hard to function because I spent most of my time being the first person that was with her, the primary person that spent in-person time with her. My sister and I shared the not just the responsibility, but the joy of being able to support her after our dad passed. But I lived closer, so I saw her several times a week and was very much involved with her day-to-day care. And every time I would see her, you'd never know what would happen. And if I got triggered, my PTSD got triggered, it would take me a few days to get back into balance, calling colleagues to help. And it was brutal. So I'm going, maybe this will help. And indeed, after about 2 weeks of doing, and this is the statement that I used. So if you are looking for a statement, a clearing statement that will help you to clear something in you that is the cause for a challenging relationship or anything that's a limitation, but specifically a relationship, or you have someone that you love in your life that you want to assist them in releasing whatever suffering is in their lives. We never do it directly. Remember, there's nothing outside of us. We are clearing whatever memories are in us, replaying from our subconscious mind that are the cause for their suffering. Not that we've directly caused it, but we're all connected, right? So the statement was, to whatever memories are in me that are the cause for my mom's suffering, because I trusted and knew 99.99% of this, I'm not going to know what it is, so I'm not going to engage in it. I'm not going to state it, even when I know. It's just whatever is causing her suffering, because that's the cause of her behaviors that were triggering my traumas and were the cause of her behaviors when I was a kid. When you're raised in an abusive household, that's what you know. And her mom died when she was 17. She did the best she could. And I trust and know that to be true. Would I have preferred my life be different? Of course. However, I know that on some soul level, I asked to be born through her. I asked her to be who she was. So I don't hold blame, judgment, or anything like that. I'm grateful, because without her being who she was, I wouldn't be who I am. And this life has been pretty amazing and continues to be. I wouldn't be the facilitator of healing in the way that I am without my life experiences. And that's true for all of us. So after, it's to whatever memories are in me that are the cause for my mom's suffering on any and all levels, that I am to atone for. We add that phrase, that I am to atone for anything that we perceive as outside of us, or if we are initiating the clearing or cleaning of suffering of someone else. And the end of the prayer is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Or you can just say, I love you repeatedly, or you can just say, thank you. You can say the 4 phrases in any order that you want. It all works. But let me tell you who you're saying it to. And then I'll continue the story, right? So who you're saying it to is your inner child, who's in charge of the subconscious mind. My inner child shows up at around 4.5 years old. That's the visual that I get of her. So for you, it's whoever he or she is for you. And Hulen says that our relationship with our inner child is one of our most significant relationships. And the reason, based on Ho'oponopono beliefs, is because they're in charge of all the memories replaying from the subconscious mind, and therefore they don't sleep, they don't take a vacation. If you, as I have, develop a beautiful, conscious, loving relationship with your inner child, you can ask them to do the cleaning for you 24/7. So the I love you is to her or to him, where you say, I love you, my little one, right? However you want to language that. I am so grateful that you are a part of me and I need your help. I love you. I'm sorry for whatever I've done to create this situation with my mom, and her suffering and my suffering and our suffering, right? Please forgive me for whatever I've done to create this, but I don't know the all of it, and you do. You have access to all of that. So I need your help. Please do this 24/7 for both of us so that we can be free of our suffering. And so the thank you is to God, divine creator, great spirit, by whatever name you call that part of you, because it's not outside of you, it is you. It is your essence. It is the part of you that comes into this body when you take your first breath. It's the part of you that departs this body when you take your last breath. It is not outside of you. It is you. And so we say thank you to that part of us for cleaning it all, because that's the only part of us that knows the all of it. And the beauty of it is that God, divine creator, clears not only what we've asked for, what we've initiated the clearing of, but it gets cleared from us first and from whomever and wherever those memories exist, going back through time, space, dimensions, and realities, through our ancestral tree, back to the beginning of creation. So I think of Ho'oponopono as a public service act, shall we say, right? Because whenever you're initiating the cleaning of anything in you, you're helping us all. So please do so. Thank you for doing it, right? Okay. So to finish the story about my mom, right? What happened was I started living this process. I would think it in the morning before I would get up in the morning. It was the first thought I had. It was the last thought I had before I went to sleep at night. I would say it during the day. If I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, I heard myself thinking it. That's how much I knew my inner child was working on it with me, right? And for me, for us. After about 2 weeks, I noticed a peace came over me that was so profoundly obvious. And then a few weeks after that, I noticed when I was with my mother, she would go to start. And you know what I mean by start with me, right? And she'd stop. It did not make sense to me. It was something that I noticed. I didn't respond or react to it. I just kind of noticed it and then just kept doing whatever. And then it happened more and more often. And I found myself saying to her when she would get upset about something, and out of my mouth would go, Mom, I love you. I'm sorry that whatever I just said triggered you and upset you. Please forgive me. It wasn't my intention. Can we move on? And interestingly enough, we would be able to do that more and more. And those moments of joy that were maybe 5% of the time, with 95% of the time of being with her being a challenge, started to shift. And in 4 months, almost to the day, I can honestly say to you, it shifted to the point that it was 90 to 95% joy and only 5 to 10% a challenge with her. What an extraordinary gift. We were moving her at the end of 4 months. We were moving her from the independent living facility she was living in to a new assisted living facility because her needs were greater. So she had a brand new apartment that was brand new, newly built. Her furniture was coming in the next day. We were all there, my sister and brother-in-law, my nephew and my niece's husband, and we were unpacking things, and she was sitting on her walker in the middle of this main room. And all of a sudden, out of the clear, she says to everybody, "Can I have everybody's attention?" And of course, respectful as we were, we all stopped what we were doing and paid attention to her. And she said, "I just want to say thank you to all of you. I could never do this without you. This is not how my mother communicates. It just isn't." But what she said after that is what brought tears to my eyes. And it was, "I just want you all to know how much I love you." To say I love you for my mom was monumental. Something in this work shifted something in her that made it possible for her to not only be in touch with those feelings, but to verbalize it. Not to say that she never said, "I love you." It was something that she could write in a note, a thank you note, a note for an event of some reason, but to say it to you, to respond to you saying it to her, that was not part of who she could be. And for that year and a half after that, all I can tell you is she would more times than not say, "I love you" back when I'd say it on the phone. It was extraordinary. We had a year of being able to spend time with each other in person. The next 6 months was COVID, right? And so we talked every day on the phone, which I had done with her for decades. And every time I would hang up the phone, I would say, "I love you. Have a good rest of your day." And she would more times than not say, "I love you" back. And sometimes she would even initiate it herself, which absolutely tickled me to no end, right? Because I knew why this had happened. I want this for you. My heart wants this for you, which is why I'm doing this class, which is why I started a new Facebook group, the Heart Healers Ho'oponopono community. I want you to benefit from this, whether you're new to this or you're a seasoned practitioner. We have this amazing ability to share, making this life easier with other people by simply doing the work. So, Ho'oponopono is an extraordinary process. I've given you some of the basics of it. There are 4 applications to it. I haven't gone into a lot of detail because I also want to talk about the solar eclipse, and our time tends to just zip by as we do these classes. It just goes very quickly. And so the 4 applications real quickly are, and I've given you the language for the clearing statement. So I'm going to just say that again. To whatever memories are in me that are the cause for, fill in the blank, whatever the problem, issue, or challenge is. On any and all levels, put in parentheses, that I am to atone for. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Say it as often as you can think of it. Write it on your mirrors. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Put I love you or whatever part of the prayer triggers you to remember on a calendar. Places where you'll see it, reminders on your phone. Create the ability to be triggered as much as you can. Sing to it, laugh to it, dance to it, where nobody can see you if you need that, right? It's a wonderful way to just keep the energy of cleaning and the initiation of that going. First application, doing it continuously. Hulen teaches us that we can be doing the cleaning 24/7 till we take our last breath. We won't be finished. There's always going to be something to clean because we are cleaning from the essence of who we are, which is indefinite in its history. And we're all connected. The second application is if in the moment something is problematic, a feeling, a physical symptom, a thought, a belief, something that's coming up that doesn't feel good on any level, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you can start initiating the clearing then to whatever this is. You know, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or I love you, 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 whatever, right? Until the feeling shifts. And then wait, because when you clear something or when something is cleared by divine creator God, what happens is other things may bubble up. So wait, see if something else comes to the surface and then clean on that. The third application is creating what I think of as a proactive list of clearing statements that are for the issues that I want to address. So back when I started doing this, the first one was my mom, to whatever memories are in me that are the cause for my mom's suffering on any and all levels that I am to atone for. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you can use that format for anything. Whether you have a physical challenge that you'd like to address, whether it's a relationship issue, maybe it's abundance flowing in these uncertain times that you want to expand and be consistently flowing to you, you know, consistently depositing into your bank account, whatever it is, you can clean on that. You are the one with your conscious mind that is initiating the cleaning of whatever the memories are that are replaying from your subconscious mind, because that's where they live. So you petition God, divine creator. God, divine creator says, since you're petitioning, you're 100% responsible. God sends, based on Ho'oponopono, a purifying light to clean out or clear the energy that is the offending source. And that's the long and the short of it. The fourth application is when you want to clear on behalf of someone or something else. That can be for a hurricane, it can be for a system, it can like a political system, a government system, a judicial system, it can be a social system, it can be anything. That's the beauty of this and the power of it. So those are the four applications. So I want to talk quickly about the solar eclipse energy. The solar eclipse energy, how many of you are followers of solar eclipse energy? Go ahead and comment for me in the chat so I can get a feel for that. Okay, Priscilla is, thank you. Because there is a very specific energy that the solar eclipse brings. Janet, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Stefan, wonderful. Okay, Suki, Carol, wonderful. Okay, so most of you are. All right, so basically, I'm not an astrologer. You may know much more than I do, but what I do know about solar eclipses that speaks to me is that they're cyclical. Now, how they are astrologically impacting you as an individual, I invite you to speak to an astrologer. There are many wonderful ones. I personally love Rosemary, and if you want to connect with her, I'm happy. Just reach out to me. I will be happy to connect you to her. They cycle in 18+ year increments. They're about 18 years and 6 months. So this last solar eclipse, and we have them in June and December every year. Sometimes we have 3, a lunar eclipse and 2 solar eclipses, but we always have a lunar eclipse and after it a solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse that just happened on December 4th, I want you to just imagine, if you will, what are the problems or issues that you're currently having? Just tap into your life real quickly and see what's coming up for you. And just kind of make a note in your mind. It can be anything, whatever you're seeing as a problem, issue, or challenge, shall we put it that way? A lack, a limitation. Okay. Now, 18 years back is 2003. If you pop back to 2003, ask yourself the question, after you quickly connect with it, was the issues that I'm having now present then? In some way, shape, or form? And I want you to really consider doing this with more focused attention after we spend our time together, or as soon as you feel that you can. If there is some connection between 2003 and now, you've been carrying it forward for 18 years. Wouldn't you love to be able to clear it now? Right? Now go back to 1985 and ask the same question after you tap into where you were in that time of your life, what was going on. Are the issues that you're having now, were they present then? If so, it's been 36 years. If you were born around that time, you probably carried it in with you. So it's a core issue. It's a significant issue. And you may always be triggered by it during this lifetime, but the greater awareness, the more you can initiate the cleaning of it, the easier it will be. And so the experience of it will be more of like an old friend showing up to let you know, this is still part of what you're here to learn through, instead of it being a source of suffering, if that makes sense. 1985, we go back to 1967. Same thing, tap in if you were around the planet at that time, see what was going on in your life, what you're aware of. See if you've been carrying it all this time. And the one before that is 1949, if anyone is a tad older than me. All right. Okay, for me, this eclipse is one where 1985 was the most significant for me because there was a lot of change in my life in 1985. And although most of that is resolved, is healed, there's still pieces of it because it's part of what I came in with. And I honor that. And so the awareness of it gives me the opportunity to very consciously choose, because that's what Ho'oponopono was about. Consciously choosing with the intellect part of your mind. That's the mother. The mother is our intellect, and it is the aspect of the mind. The inner child is the subconscious mind, Father, divine creator, and then there is the superconscious mind, which is the male or the father aspect. And so the mother aspect, our conscious mind, our intellect, chooses to initiate the clearing and speaks to the inner child. We petition the inner child to do this cleaning, to get this process going. The petition is sent up to the superconscious mind that knows of the divine creator and the human reality, is aware of both, detached from both, compassionate to both, looks at the petition, makes any adjustments, sends it forth to divine creator. Divine creator says, she's taking or he's taking 100% responsibility. Let's clean this for them. So sends mana, the purifying light, down through the superconscious, down through the conscious, into the subconscious mind, erases those programs that serve our highest good, those energy frequencies that are the cause for the challenge, issue, or problem, or suffering, and continues to clean that issue from wherever it exists. And that's how it works. So for the solar eclipse, to whatever memories are in me, that are a source of limitation on any and all levels that are related to this eclipse that I am to atone for. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. The language covers a multitude of issues of which we know nothing of, right? All the stuff we don't know of, that's what the on any and all levels covers, which I'm always very grateful for. It makes it very simple, right? So we've talked about some of the basics of Ho'oponopono. We've talked about clearing statements. We've talked about the applications, the solar eclipse energy, how you can use Ho'oponopono to start cleaning out whatever is part of that eclipse so that you can move into this next, as we're moving into this eclipse cycle, do it with much lightness of being. Apply it to whatever is a source of challenge or suffering for you as we're clearing out for this month. To enter into 2022, another statement you might consider is to whatever memories are in me that are the cause of any limitations on any and all levels in this expression of who I am in the year of 2022 and beyond. On any and all levels that I am to atone for. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So it can be about what's going on in the past, but it can also be proactive to pave the way to the future. There's so many applications to this. That's why I love to teach it. All right. Any questions quickly before I give my free reading away so that you can hop on your next call? Any quick questions? You can unmute yourself if you do. No? Okay. So my free gift for you joining me today and my expression of gratitude for staying with me this whole time is you get to receive a 60-minute free Akashic Records reading. Whether you are local or not, we can do it through WhatsApp or by phone. It is my joy. Pick a number from 1 to 20, if you will, and place it in the chat. And the person who either gets it or is the closest to it. Okay, 1 to 20. Not yet. Keep going. Keep going. Not yet. Close. Not yet. All right. Almost. We got one person that's all right. Claire, you are our winner. Claire, thank you. Thank you. And you've been visible this whole time. That's my thank you from spirit for you. I love it. All right. I will reach out to you, Claire, and we can schedule that through WhatsApp. All right. It has been my absolute joy to share this time with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. If you have any questions or any anything that you'd like to understand more about this, please reach out to me. I do offer complimentary heart healer sessions. All you have to do is go to speakwithilene, ILENE.com, and there is a link there to schedule your complimentary session. Join me in the Ho'oponopono group. It is bit.ly/, all in caps, THHHC. It's a Facebook group. Would love to have you participate with me. We're just getting started. It's growing and expanding, and it is my joy to answer questions there and support you in creating a practice that will really serve you in coming home to your heart and living a life of joy as your heart desires. Have a wonderful rest of the conference. Priscilla, thank you ever so much for joining me. You're all very welcome. It's been my joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Priscilla, can we complete our recording? Yeah.